Hello, Tina. Or is it
Hi,
Christina?
Brett.
I get it mixed up.
Either way is
Yeah.
totally fine.
Yeah. So for all the little students that you have, it's Tina, right?
Right, Teacher Tina. They like to show us a little bit more respect.
Ah, that's good. That's good. That's
So,
good. They still give
yeah.
you a title. Now, I read your background, but can you
Mhm.
just kind of tell everybody who's watching how you got involved with teaching online, a little bit about your background and so forth?
Sure. So I've always loved kids and languages. In college, I majored in K-12 education and Spanish, and I actually lived in Spain for a little bit. I ended up coming back and then going back to Spain as an au pair. So I got to work with some ESL over there in Spain. And the
Mhm.
funny thing is, I found that job online. So that was kind of my first realization that online can really make the world a lot smaller. But I remember when I was there just thinking, this is an amazing job, but I wish I could live, yeah, I could do it from home and still be with
Mhm.
my family. But that was several years ago. Online ESL wasn't really big yet. So I got kind of away from education for a couple years. I got into the medical field, into managerial positions. I ended up hiring a lot of people for different positions. And so I found that I really enjoyed helping people through a hiring process.
Mhm.
So then I ended up having to leave that job to move for family reasons. And I was looking, I always wanted to get back into education. And that's when I found VIPKID just online. Um, and I applied within 2 weeks. I was teaching, and I thought, now I can start helping other people get the job too. Since I love to help people get hired for things. So
Mhm.
it's really been an amazing way for me to kind of marry my interests with kids, languages, helping people. And I think it's great for a lot of people in that respect. And you can do it from home. So that's kind of how I got into it. I didn't even know it was a thing before I stumbled upon it.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good, and it's good how you connected all those dots together too. Yeah, that's
Thanks.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those of you that are watching, you're probably a lot more familiar with her than me and OETJobs. But for those of you that aren't, Tina has this wealth of videos when it comes to teaching online. You know, with TPR, the interview process, just tons of different information. So we'll have a
Thanks,
link to
Brett.
her. Oh no, you're welcome. You're welcome. We came across it. We're like, oh my gosh, I just couldn't believe how many videos are there. So now with a new teacher that's just starting out, what's some advice that you would give somebody who's just starting out? They're thinking about teaching online. They're probably nervous. All these different things. What's some advice you can give to them?
Right. I would say feel out which company might be a good fit for you. And I
Hmm.
think that's part of, Brett, what your company and your website does a really good job of is kind of letting people objectively see different companies and what might be a good fit. So I suggest figuring out which company might be a good fit first. And then from there, making sure you have good equipment, making sure you have a good place that you can set up. You want to be sure you have a place that is going to look professional, that you
Hmm.
can figure out some good lighting. I mean, those are all kind of the surface level things. Besides that, if you're just starting out, I suggest getting on YouTube, searching for the company that you're trying to become a part of to see kind of what their teachers think is important. Because I think you can learn a lot from people who are already in the role. And just kind of perusing the different websites
Hmm.
to figure out exactly what is needed for the different positions. I think it's really easy to get kind of overwhelmed if you're just like not committing to one or the other. So I think you find one that works for you, you try your best, you run at it 100% so that you can, hit the ground running. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. And one of the things too that I recommend for teachers, and I'll probably repeat this in almost every video, is when you're working on getting hired at some place that's more permanent, like VIPKID. I won't mention the other ones since we're just talking about VIPKID, but there's a few out there where you can get a permanent job and make a great amount of money actually too, which is good too.
Mhm.
But while you're doing that, I always suggest these phone app jobs. Kind of pick those up as you're going along. Also, too, while you're
Yeah.
filling in your schedule, because you can just pick those up, talk, hang out. I mean, it's a lot better than binge watching on Netflix because you can actually make money.
A lot more productive,
Yeah,
yeah.
lot more productive, a lot more productive. So good.
True.
Yeah, let's and thanks for all that useful information. Now let's switch
Oh,
to just
absolutely.
VIP Kid. Can you tell us,
Right.
what are the requirements at VIP Kid?
Sure. So, first and foremost, they are looking for native English speakers. That means for VIP Kid, North American speakers, US and Canada. That doesn't mean you have to live in one of those places. I've helped people get hired in Paris and different places. So, just having some experience with the educational systems in North America is good enough. But having an accent from North America also,
Mm-hmm.
having a bachelor's degree, and that can be in anything. It doesn't even matter what it's in. And you must have at least 1 year of teaching experience. And I put that in air quotes because they do consider things like mentoring and coaching and even babysitting to be teaching positions that would satisfy that requirement. So, native speaker, a bachelor's degree, and at least 1 year. Anything else that you have is just the cherry on top. Any kind of ESL certifications that you might have will just kind of give you a little boost in pay. Any kind of teaching certificates, like in a school system, like in a state, will help you out a little bit too. Um, and any kind of other teaching experience that you have that will just make you more confident and comfortable with the kids is also really great. Besides those basic things, energy is really, really big with VIP Kid. The students are mainly ages 4 to 12,
Mm-hmm.
and it's really easy to lose your energy when you're just across the screen and you're not physically with the kids. So it's something when you first start out, you need to be really conscious of. And VIP Kid loves teachers who are energetic. Teachers who use props, teachers who smile, use TPR and gestures. So those are all really good things to keep in mind that VIP Kid looks for also.
Okay, good, good. Speaking of energy, then what's your
Yeah.
trick when it comes to keeping your energy going and just hey kids, TPR, all the other stuff, smile, and I can't even do it. I'm so horrible at it. But what's one of your secrets that keeps you going and keeps you motivated?
I actually prefer to stand while I teach, and I know that's not possible for everybody, and maybe that's not appealing to everybody either. But for me, it helps me keep my energy level up because I
Mm-hmm.
can kind of move in and out. I can move side to side. If my kid is if my kid is feeling tired, I get up with my kid. We're doing jumping jacks and stuff, so that really helps me, and I think it helps my kids be a little more energized too. Besides that, I take a little bit of time in the morning to kind of wrap my head around what I have on the docket for the day. Of course, I prepare beforehand, like the day before for my classes, but that morning I quickly look over all of my classes, make sure I know what I'm doing so that I'm not stressing, oh, what reward system will I use? Oh, how old is that kid? I don't remember. I have it all
Mm-hmm.
jotted down so that I know and I can just jump in and just worry about the teaching piece and not all the little extra bits.
Yep, yep, yep. Yeah, no, standing desk. I mean, I'm at one right now. I'm kind of in a dungeon though, so I'm locked in here. But
It looks pretty cool.
let me out, let me out. But
I'm coming.
yeah, okay. But no, that's kind of a stupid joke. But yeah, no, the standing desk is excellent. I've been on a standing desk for about 8 years. So I'm sure people that are looking can kind of figure out I'm a little bit older than you, but probably by a long shot. But anyway, so good, good, very good advice, very good advice. Now we've gone
Thanks.
over the requirements, different tips and tricks. Okay. Do we leave anything out? Is there anything else you can think of? Anything you want to add? Just go ahead. People love hearing stuff like this. So.
Yeah. I would suggest finding a referring teacher. I'm not saying it has to be me, but find somebody that you think will be able to help you through the process, somebody that you can relate to, that you think will be willing to help you throughout the whole process. I did not have a referring teacher when I went through the hiring process with VIP Kid, and I remember wishing that I had, had somebody I could just call or send a quick email with a question. I ended up going on Facebook a lot, trying to find my answers and kind of getting the runaround a little bit. So that's why I recommend, you know, for the hiring process itself and for once you're hired and have questions, it's really helpful to have somebody there helping you. That's really one of the best tips I can give you.
Mhm.
And I feel the need to say this. you need to focus on the content of the lessons as well. So obviously it's fun to talk about props and TPR and all of those things, but at the end of the day, parents are paying to get their kids educated, right? If they just wanted to see some bells and whistles and fancy stuff, they would turn on the TV. They really want to hear that their kids are speaking in full sentences, that their kids are picking up vocabulary and using correct grammar, and they're learning to produce language on their own, and instead of just parrot, which is really common in a lot of countries. In the education system. So those are things, everything else is kind of fluff. It's important fluff, but it's kind of fluff. The lesson is the most important thing. So that's something I always emphasize with my referrals is focus on the lesson. Be sure that you are making sure your student is actually learning. So that's the big picture.
Yep. Got it. No, and that makes a lot of sense because sometimes, and I love your flair. You have everything on there, so that's good. So that's nice. But concentrating and making sure that they're focused on the lesson because especially you're teaching Chinese children, and I lived in China for 4 years. And not that I know how every person in China thinks, but a lot of it's just results-based driven. And if they're not seeing that, it's not a matter of feelings all the time. It is a lot of results-based. So that's good. That's good.
Thanks.
Oh, by the way, so thank you. Right before the interview, you sent me the link to your new website. And like I said, it really is one of the best things I've seen when it comes to taking people through the process of
Thank you so much.
of teaching at VIPKID. So what I'll probably do, no promises, and this is live recorded, but what I'll probably do too is I'll probably include some screenshots of that to kind of show people and walk them through the process of that. And I recommend people, even though you're watching the video, I'm going to put the link to her website there. I actually recommend that you go there because it just has so much more information. But don't forget about OETJobs as well. Anyway.
They could never.
Yeah. I don't know. It's kind of a weird name. So good. All right. Nothing else? Is that it? Are we all tapped out?
I think that's about it. Anything else they can hunt and find and, reach out for help.
Yep.
So
Yep.
it's definitely a dream job for pretty much everybody I've talked to who has gotten hired. Will follow up with me and just say, oh my gosh, I had no idea when I started how much I would love this job. And I think it's amazing. So many people don't like their jobs, or some days they like their jobs and other days they don't. But most people love their jobs every single day with VIPKID, and there's something to say for that.
Especially these days. So that's good. All right, Tina. Well, thank you so much for the time you spent with me today.
You're welcome, Brett. Thank you.
Take care of yourself, okay? Bye-bye for now.
Thank you. Good luck. Bye.